Nurses Association of Nevada now brings you Filipinas, news and features about the Filipino American nursing community and beyond. And now, here's your host, Doris Bauer.
Well, hello, Philippine Nurse listeners and followers. Thank you for joining us today. And as you know, Philippine Nurse is brought to you by the PNANV, or the Philippine Nurses Association of Nevada, in collaboration, of course, with PHLV Radio. And you can listen and view this program at PHLV Radio Live, or it's going to be in their Facebook page. And it is also shared on the PNANV website, as well as your other social media platforms like YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple Podcasts, and actually iHeart. So thank you again for joining us today. Well, today is Valentine's Day, and happy Valentine's to all of you. We hope that you're all doing well, and we hope that you have been treated well by your loved one, and that you also are treating your loved one very well today. So, again, thank you for joining us, and happy Valentine's Day. And as an after effect of the COVID pandemic, we have seen a lot of people, including nurses and healthcare workers, who have struggled with keeping their mental health intact and in check. So PNANV took the initiative to start a program called Caring Starts With Me, Ako Muna, or Me First. Okay? And keeping in mind that a nurse taking care of patients and other people, if you don't take care of yourself, you will not be able to take care of others. So PNANV has created an outline, a train-the-trainer or facilitator session, and created a manual for participants for this particular program. So today we have invited two people who actually have led the way in making this happen. Please welcome Elizabeth De Leon Gamboa and Ms. Dorothy Lenore Tomei, correct? Welcome, ladies.
Just Tom.
Tom. Yeah. Okay, Tom.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having us.
Of course. We need to get some insight on what's going on with this program, right? So,
Yes.
As you know, Elizabeth De Leon Gamboa is an advisor now for the PNANV, and she used to be the she's actually the immediate past president. And so, do you have anything to add to that, Lisa?
Yes, I'm really excited, Doris, for giving us this opportunity to invite our nurses and showcase this project, because it's a labor of love. Happy Valentine's Day. This is a gift to all our Filipino immigrant nurses.
Very good, very good. And Dorothy, otherwise known as Dot, do you have anything to do? She is actually a life care coach.
Oh.
Right?
Yes, I am.
Certified life coach. Anyway,
Yes.
What do you have to add about what do you do?
What do? I do so many things. I wear so many different hats. And one of the things that I'm happy doing is hosting the On the Dot show, co-hosting with Mia and the University of the Philippines Alumni Association of Nevada.
Yeah, she has a podcast at PHLV Radio called On the Dot. Very nice, very nice. Okay. All right, ladies, let's get started with questioning you on this project. So, what made you come up with this idea? I know this was Miss Lisa's idea.
Yes, thank you. So we did have the COVID pandemic. It seems like ages, right? And it went on, and it felt like there was no relief. And as a nurse, and I have seen, as the immediate past president of PNA, that we have been involved in really making sure that, our nurses are equipped to deal with a pandemic. You were with us,
Right.
with Mask and Shields Project. We were providing meals. We were in food pantries, vaccinations, all those efforts related to COVID. But aside from our work and all those outreach to the community, I had to step back and say, what are we doing for these healthcare workers, for these nurses who are out there in the front lines?
Exactly.
You know, aside from the stress that we have in our day-to-day work, being out there, just fearing for our own safety and our own health, it's very frustrating, it's very devastating and depressing. And so I'm like, where do we get that comfort for these nurses? And that was the inspiration for this idea, taking care of oneself. That's why the title is Caring Starts With Me. Ako muna, me first. Because how can the nurses take care of others if they don't take care of themselves?
That is correct. And thank you for that. And, during the pandemic, we lost a lot of Filipino nurses, and it was, I think within the statistics, there were a higher rate of Filipino nurses because they were the ones actually in the front lines, in the ICU, who actually took care of these people.
Yes, actually, nationally, was about 33% mortality of the Filipino descent, when in fact, our population really is only about 4% of the nursing workforce.
Right.
So do the math in there. We were so much affected, by this COVID pandemic.
Exactly. So, Dot, how did you get involved in this project?
I'm trying to recall how Lisa pulled me into this. Can you remember, Lisa?
I just
When
said,
Lisa
Dot,
called
you're
you
joining
and
me.
say, yeah, I'm here.
I don't know. I can't exactly recall the day, but I don't know. But I just said yes. Whatever it was that she asked me to do, I just said yes, and that's why here I am. Yeah.
Okay. So you did contribute to trying to get this program started. Okay, so
Actually, with Dot, we had some conversations on the phone, about how the nurses work, how tired they are, and whatnot. And she also, as a life coach, she was invited to one of our team building activities as well.
yeah,
So
right.
that really was, a very precious time for her to see firsthand, how the nurses were outside of the confines of their institution.
Very good. Yeah, and she did have a lot of things to say about that, a lot of suggestions. So very good. So your target is for this population is the Filipino immigrant nurses, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And why did you get started with them?
That's the key thing here is why start with the immigrant Filipino nurses is because most of us, I would speak for myself too in this light, because of how it's ingrained in my head. Like when you talk about mental health, it's like taboo. You don't talk about depression with anybody else.
Right.
So I would just see a lot of us in my circle. They just keep taking whatever, blows they get, from side to side. But then I don't see them asking for help. So that really was the key inspiration why I wanted to focus on our people first. And if you would see here in Las Vegas, maybe at least 50% of the nurses in each of the nursing homes, hospitals, they're Filipinos left and right. So that is why we are focusing on the Filipino nurses for now.
Very good. Do you have anything to add to that, Dot?
I think it's very precious that you're doing that, Lisa. Not just the nurses, but also all other caregivers, even teachers. I'm thinking of teachers who are caring for the mental health or the mental growth of students. So maybe, I have an affinity for teachers because I was a teacher before. So, and the other thing, I said readily yes to this because in my family, my sister attempted suicide twice, and I cradled her in my arms on the way to the hospital. And in our culture, that's a taboo to talk about your depression
Right,
back in the Philippines.
right.
My own daughter, she tried to kill herself twice as well. So,
Oh,
so I'm involved.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Yeah.
Thank you, Dot, for being vulnerable to share that.
Yes, thank you for that. So, explain how the program works. How does Caring Starts With Me work? How does it work?
Okay, so the Caring Starts With Me self-care program is actually a 21-day program. So each day there is an activity. There are choices. That the participant can prefer to do, or one, or they might want to do everything, to take care of themselves, right? So aside from that, the 21 days, we do have a first session, which would be talking about the basis of all this. How did it all start? What are the core cultural traits? If I may just really expound on that,
Sure.
Why Filipino nurses, right? And then I did tell you, we seldom ask for help. But why is that? So we go into the deep cause, and I look into the core cultural traits. Dahil nakakahiya, right?
Right.
You don't ask for help because of that. And then what are some other traits that we have? Like pakikisama, or bahala na system. And then you
Utang na
also have
loob.
your utang na loob. Like
Yeah.
even if, you really can't do it, but you can't say no to this person. So with that, we do discuss all those traits and attitudes ingrained in our hearts and in our minds, because boy, we've been a colony of Spain, Japan, and then America. So
right.
all those countries have influenced how we behave, how we think,
Right.
and how we feel, right?
Right.
So this program addresses those affective, cognitive, and behavioral strategies. So Dot, I'll turn it over to you.
And we did a research before this, or just a survey of how these core cultural traits affect nurses at home and at work, and what are their self-care practices. And so we came up with the 21 days, because this is the number of days considered by most or majority of the coaches to be crucial in creating new pathways, new behavior. So like 21 days for new knowledge and practices to settle in and to set in. So 21 days covers caring for mind, caring for emotions, and caring for body. We started with caring for mind because everything begins with the mind, the thought,
Right.
and then followed by the emotions. It goes down from the head to the heart and to the body. With that, there are three choices for the practitioner or the participant to select self-care from. For mind, 3 choices, for body 3, and for the emotions 3. And there are 189 modalities in all, or practices, or let's just say exercises, activities for the participant to choose from in the course of 21 days.
Okay.
And each one of the 189 do not replicate each other. So maybe we have 7 different kinds of meditations, 7 different kinds items for gratitude, or 21 different kinds of, all these things, but no 2 of them are the same.
Are the same.
Yeah.
Can you give me an example of like an activity?
Oh yeah, sure, for
an
sure.
activity.
What's
What's your favorite?
my favorite, my consistent practice is gratitude. So every day I write on a little piece of paper things that I'm grateful for the day, either at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day. So that's incorporated in the manual. And I've been practicing this for 5 years without a break. So wherever I go, I
Wow.
bring my little pieces of paper and find something to be grateful for. So that's one. I'm an expert in that, so to speak. And my life changed because of that. The other thing, so that's the gratitude practice can be applied in the mind. So looking for something to be grateful for with regards to my, let's say, my culture, myself as a Filipina, for example, or I'm highly adaptive, something like that, or I'm open to learning. That's a Filipino quality, pakikisama. So that can be included as gratitude for the mind. And for the emotions, the way we relate with other people as Pinoys,
Right.
Pinoys, our deep compassion for our patients, and even
Coworkers, maybe.
how am I grateful? So gratitude on the emotional scale, on the emotional level, and gratitude for the body. What am I grateful for? So there's an exercise there where you can stand in front of the mirror and look at yourself in the mirror, and be grateful for each part of your body that you can see. I'm grateful for my eyes. I'm grateful for my skin. It's brown. It's beautiful. Something like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
cuts across.
Wow, that definitely is a great exercise because a lot of people, we don't realize this, but we just go about in our daily lives not thinking about what am I going to do today, and with all the tasks already in mind, you get grumpy. So before you even get started. So that's a great one.
If I may also add to that, aside from all these exciting activities, they're actually tailored to answering some of these, core cultural traits.
Correct.
Each
Yes.
one corresponds to a core cultural trait.
Yes.
So you
Very
can really
good.
see that they are culturally sensitive.
Very good. I'd love that. Love that.
Although the participants themselves will not exactly see that, because we don't want to influence their the way they
react.
participate. Yes, because there might be preconceived notions about, let's say, bahala na. Oh no, I don't want to do that. So that's subconscious. That's subliminal.
Yeah.
I would say.
yes, yes, yeah. Okay.
And then at the end, they can talk about that. Like
Yeah. They actually can
Yes,
identify.
yes, right.
Yep.
So that's great, the participants. So how about the facilitators? What do you do to train a facilitator? Because you're going to need facilitators to do these classes or these programs, right?
Yes.
So,
Wow, it's really exciting because last Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago, I believe, on February 3,
Third, yeah.
yes, we had 17 participants to
Wow.
become facilitators. And
Wow.
that is amazing. Do you see how these nurses are so engaged that they want to take care of themselves, but also take care of their colleagues? And they want to be facilitators. So we had a very intensive 3-hour class on how to deliver the manual. We had, a facilitator's guide to show step by step. What do you do before the sessions? How do you interact with your participants? What are the forms that need to be filled out? Do they have to send this burnout scale? Do they have to do their contract, self-assessment, all that stuff? Then it would guide them also there how they're going to discuss the core cultural traits. And then they also, it's also lined up in there, what CEUs are going to be granted for each of the sessions. And then they
okay.
go through the activities and whatnot. So that facilitator training was for 3 hours, and we will have another one because there seems to be more interest out there for facilitators.
well, let's get the word out there. Hopefully, this will get the word out there, and it is basically needed. Do you have anything to add to the facilitator training, Dot?
Yes, last Saturday, of the 17, 7 of them showed up for a Zoom meeting. And it was so the word I would use is juicy. It's so juicy. It's so rich in insights, and they gave their different insights and feelings and milestones. For example, I may just say this, but without naming names. So one of the things, very first things that facilitators and participants would do in completing the program is to set an intention at the beginning.
okay.
You need to have an intention. It's not just a goal, but it's an intention, and it's in the present tense. So somebody wrote, based on her assessment, Lisa, that you mentioned, the self-assessment, how satisfied are you with the 8 different areas of your life? And from them, you get the least satisfied area. And from those least satisfied areas, you set your intention. So one of them, as said, finances was her lowest scoring area based on her own assessment. And she wanted to complete her credit card bill. And
Pay it off, you
as
mean?
of, yes, pay it off. And as of that conversation, she paid it all off. And she said,
Wow.
I have no idea that my financial obligation, my financial status has a great effect on my mental health. Can you imagine that? That's just 7 days.
Yeah.
Wow, and it
That's
is.
proof,
If you
yeah.
are unsure about your finances and your own comfort and how you're gonna move on financially, that takes a lot.
That's
of
so
toll.
inspiring.
That's that. Oh wow, that's awesome.
She paid off her credit card. Amazing.
Okay, so you have a lot of facilitators like wanting to join, right?
Yes, yes.
Oh, what about the participants? What can a participant expect to gain from becoming a participant in the program?
Yes, being a participant in the program would really help these nurses, gain those strategies and just really to start with self-awareness, to think about, where am I at my career, family life? Am I satisfied? Are there things that I need to do? And then this, we're not saying that, this will heal and miraculously solve everything, right?
Sure,
but
sure.
it actually equips these nurses, our colleagues, with the tools that they will need to be able
Okay.
to address, their emotional, their cognitive issues, as well as their behavioral issues.
True.
Good. How many, from the participants, they were all nurses, the one that have signed up?
Yes, they're
They're
all
all
nurses.
nurses,
Oh,
okay.
and the other thing too that the participants would gain from this, aside from those strategies, is the camaraderie. We've just seen, because we had like buddies among the facilitators. They're like, okay, what's her number? And they're like checking on each other. And I myself, have a group. And, we send inspirational quotes like, how are you guys doing? Oh, I'm here in Arizona, but I'm still doing my self-care, that kind of stuff. So we build
That's good.
relationships as well.
Yeah, building relationships and networking, I guess, so to speak. So, is there anything else you want people to know about this program that we haven't touched?
Just before we, probably you want to answer that, Lisa, but we operate from the premise that as above, so below. So,
As above, so
and
below.
as within, so without. By that we mean that facilitators will first have to experience themselves as participants. So for the first 21
correct.
days during the facilitators training and until the end of the 21 days, which will be February 24th,
Okay.
that they engage with the manual as participant. And when they get to experience what it feels like to do the manual. After that, they can have their own participants and they become the facilitators. So for now, I am the facilitator
Okay.
of the facilitators who are participants.
Yes, yes.
At the
yes.
end of the 21 days, I set
Okay.
them free, but they check in with me every 7 days.
Okay.
So we look at also their takeaways and their suggestions for the manual, Lisa. So we got two, but so that's very precious.
Yes.
At the end, then they're free. They conduct their own facilitation, and they can have their own participants.
That's awesome. Do you have a copy of that? Can you show people the
Yes.
manual that you guys have created? Oh, look at that. Caring starts with me, ako muna. I love that. I love that. So that's great. So how does one sign up for this program?
Well, we do have a link and a QR code. I believe that we can flash
Yeah,
it.
we can flash on screen.
On the screen. And they can also go to the PNANB website because it will be uploaded there. And so please, join us and indicate in there if you want to be a facilitator or you want to be a participant. Also, it would show there your options. What days of the week are you available? What times would you prefer? Because we want it as smooth and as easy as we can.
Right, right. That's good. That's good. So, what has been your feedback so far from the participants and the facilitators?
One of the best, aside from the one that I told you.
Yeah.
There are so many bests, okay?
Yes.
So one of the multiple bests is writing the love letter to self. And they said, we've never done that before.
Love that.
I never experienced writing a love letter for myself. And I felt like not stopping. I have so many things to tell myself. Can you imagine that? I'm getting goosebumps while telling you about that. And the other one said, and she read her letter to herself, and just, wow. It's short but very sweet. Lisa, could you imagine that? It's so sweet to write loving words for yourself. That's self-care.
It's not easy though. Sometimes, like even when you're working, you do a self-evaluation, right? When it comes to performance evaluations, it's always the hardest. But now here, you're really taking that time to say nice things to yourself.
Exactly.
To love yourself
right.
first. Wow.
That's what we mean.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
Which
that's what
you
we
barely
mean
hear
by,
from other people, and you do know that you possess those traits, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
That's what we mean by as within, so without. So you're so full of love that you are now capable of giving pure love to other people. The other thing that came up, which was beautiful, there's a portion in the manual that says your own self-care. And she said somebody told her to just stand up straight or straighten your back. And then our insight about that is as you straighten your back, you open your heart. Your chest area is open. So as it's opener, you're more open to receive and give love.
Wow.
Okay, so I love that.
Wow.
I love this.
Love that.
I love
this.
this.
Yes.
That's great. So it looks like a very great program for everyone to participate. And I know that you just have started this for the Filipino nursing immigrants. Is there any plans of expanding it to other cultures?
Yes, definitely. I've been in a conference in LA with other Asian American groups, and I have seen how much different we are, but then how much we are alike. So they've shared their experiences as well as immigrants, like being really soft-spoken and would just bow their heads and just do the work. same experiences that we had coming in here, for the first time. We had our accents. Sometimes we can't really jive into their jargons and whatnot. We didn't know how to use their equipment, right? Because back home we didn't have those electronic IV pumps or electric thermometers and all that stuff. So we share the same experiences. Though maybe culture, we have some similarities, we can also celebrate the differences. So yes, that is the plan, to reach out to other cultures.
I am looking forward to that. That's great. And as a lay people also, Dot, maybe this can be segued to not only healthcare professionals or nurses, but other people as well.
For sure, yes. Right.
You think that would be a great thing for you too?
Yeah, somebody said that, hey Dot, when you complete the manual, can I have a copy? And I just said yes, but of course in my mind I said, oh, this belongs to PNA Envy. I will have to tailor something for her. She's a senior and she's Canadian. Okay, so she said, maybe would you like to share your self-care strategies with senior people, not just the Filipinos, but so that's another field that's worthy of looking into.
Very good, very good. Did we miss anything about the program? I think I have. Well, we looked at the facilitators, we looked at the participants, how you conduct your activities. Did we miss something else?
There's one portion of the program is actually divided into 3 parts. The first part is the whys and the wherefores. I love how Lisa created the title, and it details the research that she did, the survey. What else is it? The core cultural beliefs of the Filipinos. And part 2 is the manual itself, and part 3 is a facilitator's guide. So for participants, if they don't want to be guides, facilitators, they can just have the first 2. Yeah.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Well, that is wonderful. Is there like different dates that you get a program started? Will that be in our website, or
yes, it will be posted on our website. For now, I just want to reassure the participants it's a commitment for 5 weeks, because we have a weekly session for 1 hour. It can be done by Zoom or in person, depending on how we match the participants and the facilitators' times.
I see.
But we will have those times and dates available on the website. And then we will also, after they have signed up for the classes, we will send personal emails and links to make sure that they are attending the right classes.
Very good.
Also,
good.
Lisa, the disclaimer. That
Go
this
ahead.
is
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
go ahead. What is the
So
disclaimer?
this is not. We're not psychologists or psychiatrists. We're not fixing anything here. If you have an emergency, of course you
have to
consult
go to,
your healthcare practitioner. But if in the process you get healed, ta-da! Congratulations. But we do not claim to be healers and doctors here. So it's written down.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. That's extremely important. Okay, very good. So, what is your message? What's your message to the nurses and the public? Let's start with you,
Go ahead,
Dot.
Dot.
With me, the nurses. Well, I'm not a nurse, and I have very limited.
But you have dealt with a lot of nurses in your practice as a life coach, right?
Yes, I have dealt with different wellness givers, well-being practitioners. So I have a deep, deep regard for nurses in particular, because you're there. You are hands-on, so you deserve to treat yourself well, to take care of yourself, because the opposite of self-care is self-neglect. You
correct.
would not dare even think of neglecting your patient. Why would you neglect yourself? You want to take care of yourself fully, because your person, your presence is the one you're giving to your clients, your patients,
Right.
and even to your bosses,
Right.
the community. So you are the important person in your life.
Okay. Yes.
Because without you, you're not there. you know,
True.
that's a paradox there.
Right,
Okay,
that's
so that's
true.
my message: is take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself. Okay. Miss Lisa?
All right. To our nursing colleagues and even the aspiring nurses, the students, and I would like to just really tell you that self-care is not being selfish. You have to take care of yourself so you can take care of others. Just like a cup, you cannot give from an empty cup. So you have to fill your cups first. So caring starts with you first, right? Or ako muna, me first. You put yourself first, so then you can give more.
Yeah.
Very good.
Ditto.
Very good. Very good, very good. Well, so if you all are interested in this program, you can go to pnanv.org and you will find a link to this program. Caring starts with me, ako muna. Right. Well, thank you very much, Lisa, Elizabeth De Leon Gamboa, and Ms. Dot, Dorothy Lenore Yazila. I can't pronounce
Dot.
that one.
Just
And
call me Dot, yeah.
Tom, for actually coming to our program today and talking about caring starts, with me. And so, this is a very culturally sensitive project, and we are hoping for the expansion to the other cultures, not from Filipino also, but let's start with us. Ako muna, tayo muna,
Yes.
right? And then we can expand. So we appreciate your work on this, and we thank you so much. Okay.
Awesome.
And to our Philippine NARS followers, caring for oneself is of utmost importance in our very busy and very stressful lives as nurses and caregivers. So please take care of yourselves. Please do so. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for giving us the privilege of your time. This is Doris Bauer, your Philippine NARS host, signing off for now.
The Philippine Nurses Association of Nevada has just brought you Philippine NARS, news and features about the Filipino American nursing community and beyond.